Welcome to this week's Supply Chain Update, brought to you by Phoenix International. Let's start with some important alliance changes. Starting in February 2025, Ocean Network Express, Hyundai Merchant Marine, and Yang Ming will form the Premier Alliance. They've also partnered with MSC for slot exchange cooperation, which will optimize space allocation across major routes. However, space remains tight for shipments bound for the U.S. West Coast, especially for IPI services. With labor negotiations between the ILA and USMX still unresolved, there's a growing risk of a strike that could further impact capacity. Shipments from China to Tacoma and Seattle are seeing significant delays due to rollovers at origin. It's critical to book space early to avoid disruption. For those shipping to the Gulf, there's some good news. According to Hyundai Merchant Marine, the Mexico to Houston rail service remains stable and minimally affected by potential labor issues, providing a reliable alternative. Now on to rate predictions. Yang Ming has announced several general rate increases through October 15th. These increases reflect tightening space and rising operational costs in key trade lanes. Shippers are encouraged to plan ahead and secure bookings early to avoid higher rates. Moving on to port congestion, the Asia port status shows major delays at Dalian with 21 days, Huangpu at 9 days, and Fuzhou at 5 days, while ports like Shanghai and Ningbo have shorter waits. In the U.S., Charleston faces a 13-day delay, and both Tacoma and Chicago report 7 days. Early bookings and proactive planning are essential to avoid disruptions. In other news, Southern California is experiencing a surge in import volumes, leading to higher spot truck rates. Rates have risen by 6 cents per mile in August, with shipper-paid spot hauls now averaging $2.80 per mile. Meanwhile, there's growing concern over a potential strike at U.S. East and Gulf Coast ports as the September 30 contract deadline approaches. Businesses should prepare for possible port disruptions if a new agreement isn't reached. China's exports surged by nearly 9% in August, reaching a 2-year high despite ongoing domestic economic challenges. However, this influx of cheaper goods has sparked concerns among international trade partners about the sustainability of this growth. And finally, Air Canada is preparing for a potential pilot strike, set to begin on September 19. Cargo operations, especially for temperature-sensitive goods and live animals, will be affected if the strike proceeds. And that concludes our update on the global supply chain. Thank you for joining us. We will continue to monitor these developments and keep you informed. You can follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube for more supply chain-related updates.